Hi, everybody. Carla Archer here, helping you work on your wellness. And welcome to our live discussion. Karen Messina is here with me today. Hi, Karen. How are
Hi,
you?
how are you?
Good, thank you. And we're here just to talk to you a little bit about this holiday season. We know that this has been a little different than our normal holiday seasons, and a lot of people may be feeling, a little bit extra emotional at this time, or feeling like what they don't have is really apparent to them and really in their face. And that can be hard to handle sometimes. So, my good friend Karen is here today. She is a life coach, and she's going to help us find some peace in this holiday season. Hi again, Karen. Thank you for
Hi.
being here and
Oh,
to
thank
help
you for
us.
having me. It's so awesome.
Well, I know that you've been on to talk to my audience before, and I've been in some of your groups and following you all the time, and I get so much inspiration from you. So I certainly appreciate you being here today. And let's talk a little bit about, what people are feeling right now, and a couple of tips that they could use maybe to help them with some of those feelings that they're feeling, overwhelmed and lost.
Right. Well, you're so right about that. It feels like we're all in prison, to be honest, because we've been told what to do for so long, and we kept thinking this was going to pass, and the holiday seemed so far away, like, oh, this will be fine. But then it got worse and worse, and it takes a toll on you because over time, everything that you loved about your life just gets chipped away and chipped away a little at a time. And so it feels like for this holiday season, it was the one thing that people love. Most people love the holidays. Some people don't, but most people do. And they're feeling a sense of loss and a sense of it's like the death of anything, right? The death of the holiday we used to have, right? And so you're feeling sad and you're feeling not festive. And I saw a poll on the news, I think it was, where only 23% of the population feels festive this year. And I thought, oh my gosh, I had no idea it was that bad. But
Mhm.
what happens is, even for me, like I typically decorate my whole house, every single room. And even me, I didn't really feel like decorating every single room because, I'm thinking, who's going to see it? I'm doing things for other people to make them feel happy. And I do it for me. I mean, obviously, I love my tree. I've posted that a few times on my Facebook page, my tree and all my presents and everything. So, what can we do to find peace? So, the thing to do is to try to realize what it is in your life that makes you happy. So, I love giving gifts. And even if I can't have people here, I can still buy gifts and give them to people and bring joy to their life. So I was going to start something called Shop, Drop, and Zoom, where you go shopping and then you wrap all the presents and make them look beautiful. And then you drop them at your loved one's home and, and make it look pretty at their front door. And then you get on a Zoom call and you all open the presents together. And I thought, oh, how fun would
Yeah,
that be, right? You kind of alter your situation based on your current circumstances, right?
right.
So that was what we were going to do if this got any worse here. But anyway, so you could still buy presents for people and you could still bring joy to others. And if that brings joy to you, you're still, finding peace and joy there. There's the people who have lost someone in their life during the holidays in the past, and they always dread the holiday because they focus on the person that they lost. So behind me is this little tree. It's from my Aunt Ida, and we loved her dearly. And she's the woman who made all of our traditions of Christmas what they are, right? So everything that I love about Christmas was that she created it. Then she passed away. Now, I could spend every holiday when Christmas comes saying, oh, this is awful. Aunt Ida's not here anymore. It's never going to be the same. And then dwell on that thought. But that doesn't get you anywhere. It just makes your whole holiday horrible. But I took that little tree that she gave us and I put it in the spot in my dining room here. And I talk about it all the time in a joyous way, like, oh, look at Aunt Ida gave us this tree. Isn't it so pretty? And I put it here every year in memory of her so that I can remember the good times about her. So that's another little tip that you can do if you're, just sad about the fact that you can't be with people. And it doesn't have to be somebody who died. It could be somebody in your family that you're saying, hey, look at, I'm putting this here, the stocking. This is your stocking. I know you can't be here, to open it up, but I'm going to put it here. I'm going to think about you every day. So doing things to bring you joy. And one of the other things that I like to tell people is to try to do things that you can be in control of within the confines of your own home. So if you're being quarantined in your state or your country, because I have some people in England that I've been talking to, and they're so angry because they can't, they're back in quarantine for like the third time. Try to do what you can within the confines of your home and your boundaries so that you can be happy, no matter what that is.
I love what you're saying, Karen, because even outside of this holiday season, so much of how we do things really should be thinking in a way about us, like, doing it for us. Why are we doing something? Well, we're choosing to do it for us, and it changes how we feel about things. Because there's somehow a different connection there. So like you were saying, even about decorating your home, and you love doing it for other people, but I had the opportunity to be home this year for the first time in 2 years and set up my tree. And part of me wasn't very enthusiastic at first, but I thought, you know what, I should do this for me. I should do it for the pleasure of seeing my decorations I haven't seen in a long time. Just let me shift that paradigm in my mind from, like we were talking earlier about a little bit of pity, and going, okay, no, you know what? I'm going to change how I perceive this and put a happy spin on that and do it for me because it makes me happy.
Exactly. And so my joy is laying on my couch and looking at the tree, because that's where it's situated, and watching Christmas stories, right? And so that's so fun to do, and it makes me feel warm and cozy. And so that is why I could have said, nope, I'm not decorating anything. And I've heard a lot of people say that, like, I didn't put any decorations up this year because I'm mad at the world. I'm like, well, now you've added another layer of negative energy on top of the negative energy that the government is already giving us and the COVID is already giving us. Like, start taking control of what you can control. And so I choose joy. That's my motto this year. I choose joy. So I'm going to make things in my life joyous. And then, yes, there's social media. Like right now, I can see your tree and it's beautiful. So somebody is seeing it, right? I could do a live and walk through my whole house and just say, hey, everyone, I couldn't have you over this year, but I'm going to take you on a virtual tour of all my decorations, and let's have a drink together, in our own homes, and be safe. Right?
Absolutely. And we're so very fortunate that we do have that capability to still stay connected with people. And it's about, again, like you said, making the choice to make the best of the situation. Would you say, and this is something that I've sort of felt for myself, is that it's really made those things, it's kind of like everything with this lockdown and the situation we're in, everything that we're missing, almost when you don't have it, you miss it more, and you come to realize how much you've actually missed it. And even this time, typically we're away, so we're closer to our family and friends, but we still don't get to see them. But it's really given me a sense that, how much I appreciate that and how much that actually means to me. And, some choices that I'll make in the future in and around that.
Yeah. I think being grateful for the things that you have in your life and the things that you've had too, like we celebrate Christmas together as a big family every year, and feeling grateful for what you had in your life to create the memories that you're missing, right? And knowing that this is just a Band-Aid on a big problem. So this year is just a temporary situation, and it's going to end. So if we can look at things like that and say, look at this, I'm not missing anything. I'm just in this temporary state with the rest of the world. It's not like it's just happening to you, right? It's happening to the whole world. So that brings us together as community, right? We're in this together. So looking at it in a way where we're dealing with it together, we're thinking of ideas together to try to make it better. And yes, I feel very grateful that we're healthy. I feel very grateful that we can, do what we're doing. I was able to buy all those presents that I keep taking videos of and like sharing, so that I can, whether I drop gifts off to people or they come here or whatever we do. I'm grateful for being healthy and having my family still be healthy too. I'd rather that they be home in their own space and not get sick. So that's one of the things we need to look at, that what we do have, rather than looking at what we don't have. And when you look at what you don't have, that starts you on that perpetual hamster wheel of negative energy, and you just seem to not be able to get off of it because you're just seeking out and trying to find evidence to support that you're unhappy. And I can tell you, if you try to seek out and find negative energy, you will find it 100% of the time.
Absolutely.
Right? But if you seek out and try to find positive examples of what you're grateful for, you'll also find that 100% of the time. And wouldn't you rather have that going on?
Absolutely. And they do say too, you know, if you have a moment where you feel like maybe you're sliding into negativity, get a pen and paper and write down some things you're grateful for, because your mind cannot remain in a state of negativity when you start to express gratitude. And when you start to see what you actually have and become grateful for that, it's really just going to shift you to back to where you need to be. And you're absolutely right. This is just a change for us. And there's a lot of opportunity to do something different maybe that we haven't done before. We're going to be very fortunate because I live in a very cold part of the world at times in the winter, but we're going to have some really nice weather over the holidays. So this is a time to get out of the house, and maybe I'll go snowshoeing or do something that I typically don't do because I usually try to get away from the snow. So I just have to think of ways that I can use this time to enjoy what I can enjoy, do some Zoom calls with people and connect, and just be happy in what we have. We have a home, we have food, we have heat. You know, we're very fortunate. We have our health. So
yeah, and I like what you said before about how you're home now, and so you're able to decorate. You weren't home before. Like people who, I tried to look at that from the perspective of people who were furloughed or they had to work from home, and they're looking at all the negative reasons why they don't want to be home. But then if you look at, wow, this is a new experience, right? Like maybe I can do some things that I hadn't done before, I hadn't thought of doing before, was not able to do because I was at work 8 hours a day. You come home from work, you know, you make dinner, you get your clothes ready for the next day, and you go to bed, right? Now we're being given a gift in a way for everybody who's healthy, that you are now able to be home. And so what I want to say about that is creating disconfirming experiences is part of my coaching, and creating disconfirming experiences to sort of combat the negative experience that you're used to. So if you have had a bad experience in your life and you're just dwelling on it and talking about it all the time, making it bigger, because when you focus on something, it makes it bigger. So when you create a disconfirming experience, so for example, you know, my aunt who passed away, she created all these awesome memories for us. But because she's not here, we could create a new experience around the same event, around the same day, or around the same memory, and make it new and fresh and make it for us. So having a disconfirming experience to sort of turn around that negative experience that you had in the past is how you begin to heal.
I love that. That's a really great suggestion. And now you are a life coach, but you specialize with people, or particularly women, who are survivors of abuse.
Yes.
So you have some special points for them who may be having some different struggle during the holiday time and with lockdown. What kind of things do you have for those?
Yeah. And it's funny because I was with someone this earlier today who was experiencing this very thing. So when you're a survivor of domestic abuse, you have a lot of different challenges. And one of them is that when you are in an abusive relationship, you're feeling already like a prisoner in your own home. You're under the power and control of another person. So you don't have any way to make your own decisions and choices and whatnot. So a lot of women the women I coach are out of their abusive relationship. So they got out of the abusive relationship, they're living their life, they're doing their thing, and then COVID hit. So then they're being told what they can and can't do again. And so that's very triggering for people. So you're being triggered by what's happening. So now, well, I can't go to the grocery store. I'm being told that I have to work from home, or I'm being told that I'm getting laid off from my job. Now that is bringing up so many triggers for women who have made it out and they're living their own life. And even women in leadership roles, or owning their own business. Maybe they lost their business. Now they're feeling that trigger again of loss and unhappiness. So what I try to tell people, and even the ones who have the abusive partner who's still in the picture, but they have kids. So that person, I guarantee you, will make their life miserable because they're no longer able to control you because you've gotten out, but they'll use your children as a way to make your life miserable. So if the kids are unhappy, then you're unhappy, and it's just a mess. So and that's a lot, I know. But having said all of that, and I'm sure if there's listeners that are survivors, they're going to be like, yep, that's exactly what's happening to me. So what I try to tell people is create a boundary around your life of what you will and will not allow in it anymore. And within your boundary is where you're creating your disconfirming experiences, and you're creating a life that belongs to you. You no longer are under the power and control of someone else. Even the government is telling us, well, you can't go to the grocery stores anymore because, this is what's happening. Well, guess what? We have Instacart, or we have delivery people. So you call up and you place your order for your groceries and somebody delivers it to you. Problem solved. I'm taking control of my situation. Or you can't gather anymore in each other's homes. So you make the decision to drop all the gifts off, like I said earlier, to someone's home and watch them open on a Zoom call. Some of the things with the ex-partners and the kids, it's a little tougher, but you can create a new experience with your children in the boundary of your own home and say, this is what we're going to do. And if their father or whoever, mother, whatever, wants to create a stressful environment while they're there, they know they can come home to their safe haven when they're done with their time and be in a new experience where it's joyous and happy. So there's just always ways for you to create a new experience within your life, and you're in control of your outcomes. That's the most important thing. You being in control of your outcomes is what brings most people happiness and joy.
I love that. And I think that is, like, you nailed it on the head, because we are in control about how we choose to perceive. And for some, and for many of us, for various reasons, we do have things that are limiting beliefs or struggles or triggers, as you mentioned, that we need to work through. And, recognizing them, I think, is the first step. Recognizing that something is triggering yourself, being loving to yourself and caring, and choosing a new point of view. You were mentioning the cart for groceries and different things that people can do. One thing I had heard that somebody suggested, they said, well, we're going to do something totally new this year. Instead of having a turkey, actually, we're going to order in from one of our favorite restaurants that's going to be open for Christmas and help to support that business and just create a different kind of a day for us than we would normally have with the turkey. So going back to what you said too, maybe about a family and a mother with children who is creating a new style of holiday. This is a great time to start creating some of your new traditions and new activities that you do in and around the holidays. So
yeah.
So there can be a lot of good that does come out of it too.
Super fun. Yeah. Yeah. And supporting other people and that bringing you joy. Like, a lot of the little restaurants around here are closing down because there's not enough business. But what we've been trying to do is order out so that they keep, they have at least they have that business going, so that if they deliver food, it's almost as good as, so we try to shop and go to restaurants that are small and local, not the chains, so that to help keep them in business. So yeah, you're right. Creating new experiences and understanding the value in it.
And we're also creating a memory about this too, because there's going to come a time in the future where we go, oh, remember that Christmas in 2020 where we all had to stay home and wear masks? What did you guys do? So, create a good experience that you're going to be sharing in the future, rather than I sat at home and I was really PO'd about what was going on.
I know. It's funny to say that, because I know a guy who he just isn't a people person at all. And he made this comedy. He goes, I know this is a horrible thing, but I love this because I don't really like people that much. And so now I don't have to interact with them so much. Or people who are typically don't smile a lot. So they have the mask on, which is helping them to not have to have, all you can see is their eyes. And I said this the other day, it's hard to read people's faces a lot of times, but there's so much to be said about what a person's eyes do. And I feel like with these masks on, we have to be more eye focused. So I'm trying, like when I smile at people, how you kind of squint a little. So I'm squinting a lot more so people know I'm smiling. Yeah. So when we stop wearing these masks, we're all going to look like crazy people, I think.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be overexpressing our eyes a little.
Yeah.
So Karen, just to kind of wrap up, a couple of things we talked about, being grateful, if you have a moment, now or actually on Christmas Day or whatever holiday that you're celebrating, taking a moment just to come out of negativity and think about what you're grateful for, creating some new traditions in and around the holiday. What are a couple more that you had mentioned that you would put on the top of the list to do to give that quick switch back to enjoyment?
Oh, yeah. So, the whole knowing what you are, going to allow in your life and not, and like just to try to look at the things that bring you joy specifically and changing up the routines that you're in so that they're more focused on you. I know it seems selfish. It's not selfish, especially right now. But, when you're feeling sad about something and perhaps somebody has passed away and you can't seem to get past the holiday, or you're just sad about the way this Christmas is going right now and that you can't do the same things that you normally do, sharing that outward to other people and not talking about it all the time and not perpetuating that feeling. So immediately looking at something that brings you joy. And, it could be something simple like, I'm so happy. If you're thinking about other people that maybe have lost their business or are losing their home because they lost their job or whatever, and just feeling that feeling of gratefulness and maybe paying it forward a little bit. I was at the donut shop. It's a bagel shop the other day. And I got up to the window and the girl said, "Oh, the gentleman in front of you paid for your order." I was like, "Oh my gosh, really?" And so I thought, how sweet. Like you could do something like that to quickly turn around your negative feeling, because as soon as you see somebody happy and feeling good, then it immediately turns off that negative switch and makes you feel better. And so that is like a snowball effect. I talked about that the other day, doing one thing to bring you joy and you're like, oh, that really felt good. What else can I do? That sets the ball rolling for you to do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And the next thing you know, you're feeling great. And when you feel good, you do good. When you feel bad, everyone around you is affected by it. And if you keep that in mind and think, I don't want to bring everybody's holiday down, I want to lift people up. So that is my advice.
We do a thing in one of the training groups I'm in. It's actually called Wealth Wednesday. And every Wednesday, and it can be any day of the week, but just kind of as a collective on Wednesday, we do something just like that. Either give an extra tip or do something without recognition. And what he's always talking about too is exactly this example. So now that one person did that gift for you, and now you were like, oh, that's really cool. I think I'd like to do that, so it just kind of creates more of that great kind of energy in the world. And there is no doubt that, the feeling of being able to give, and it doesn't have to be monetary. It doesn't have to be huge. You could be something you make. It could be something you're not using anymore, someone else could use. It's just about thinking of others.
And things that make you smile and things that make you happy. Like I love Christmas music, and I could just be in my own world. Like when I'm in my car, I blast the Christmas music and it makes me so excited. That's what helps those memories to come back. So whatever it is that makes you think of a happy time in your life, just do it, whether it's a walk in the snow or Christmas music. And so today, when I was visiting a friend earlier today, she had a basket on her front step filled with bottled water, candy bars, all kinds of stuff, and said, "Hello, delivery man." And she had a box from Amazon that was delivered there. I said, "Oh, you have a box. Do you want me to bring it in?" And it said, "Hello, delivery man. Please take one. Thank you for your service." And I'm like, oh, I want to do that now.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
It made me smile. And when you do things that make you smile, you really, and let me tell you, if you can conjure up that negative energy, which we're all so good at doing, conjuring up that negative energy, you can dig deep and find something in your life that makes you smile, whether it's looking at your kids or something that a friend did for you once, or flowers you received when you were really sad. If that made you smile, you need to dig deep and find that thing in your life that made you smile and hang on to that as tight as you can, so that will, project you forward.
Absolutely. And also a great idea of something that you could do for someone else.
Yeah.
And the infamous quote be the change you want to see in the world.
Yeah, I love that.
It all starts with you. And Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So Karen, before we go, let's talk a little bit about, you are a life coach and you have an amazing page on Facebook. Now tell us about a couple of the groups that you have ongoing.
Okay, so I have my group. I just changed the name from my Professional Women Survivors of Abuse group to Empowered Women Survivors of Abuse. So I'm focusing mostly in that group. I also have a podcast that's getting very popular. I found out from a few people. I'm super excited about that. Coaching Survivors of Domestic Abuse with Karen. If you just type that in, I pop right up, I was told. So in 2021, I'm really excited because I'm going to start trying to do a few more things in the new year about being empowered. And I actually probably am going to do a live after this. I want to talk to all the women in my group about, I want the group to be more about us empowering each other and lifting each other up. Some of the groups that I've been in, they're like, survivors or narcissistic group, whatever, and they perpetuate that negative energy because they're just talking about it, and they're like gathering more people around them to talk about it. And I want to make all of my listeners know that the way to heal is to have purpose in your life. And our purpose in 2021 is to uplift each other, to empower each other, and to grow forward. We want to grow. Yes, we're survivors, but when you have that title of survivor, which I've always loved having, but somebody said this to me the other day, I heard them say, it's great to be a survivor, but then you find yourself always surviving something, right? You don't want to always be oh yeah, I survived. I'm doing fine. I survived. Like, no. I'm a liver now. We want to be success stories. So we're going to get empowered. So that's my goal for 2021. I hope people who are watching this will join that group. You have to go in and, like all the other Facebook groups, just join. And it's a private group, so it's just us in there. We can share, but I'm trying to promote not sharing negative things, but let's talk about how we can help each other.
You do a very good job of that too. I know that I have been in other types of groups where, yes, exactly. They would almost rather talk about their problem and not the solution ever. That's what's feeding them. Whereas in your group, every time I catch one of your videos, I'm always uplifted and inspired. You do an amazing job.
Oh, thank you.
And you attract people like that to your group. So your group is different than the other ones. And I'm looking forward to working with you more in 2021 and being inspired and uplifted and encouraged to continue on. And thank you for your time today. We really appreciate it. We had a lot of really great points and messages and tips that people can use over the holidays. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And
thank you for having me on.
Oh, absolutely.
Very nice of you.
Anytime at all. And thank you so much for joining us, and happy holidays to everybody in whatever way, shape, or form that is for you. Just remember, like Karen was saying, we are all in this together, so find new ways that we can share, connect, and support with each other, and find some new ways that you can enjoy the holidays, enjoy what this is for us right now, this different time. And there's a lot of good that can be found in this as well. So happy holidays to everybody. And thank you again, Karen, for being with me.
You're welcome. And happy holidays to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.